I was born in South Africa, and South Africa was part of Natal province. First thing they did when they got off the ship was look for a flat piece of land, and they set up a racetrack. So horse racing in South Africa back in the 50s, 60s, 70s was enormous. It was huge. It was front page of the front page. So I was kind of born into it. We had 3 racetracks in the city I was brought up in. It was Durban. But they already had 2 announcers, and I was like 16, and went along to the racetrack and said to the guy, listen, I want to be an announcer. And the one announcer one day just up and left them in the lurch. And he said, what about that little kid that's been bugging us for these last few years? Let's get him off our back, see if he's still interested. So they came to me and I said, yes, I'll be there. First 6 races I called into a tape recorder. 7th race they said, you're on. And that's how I started my racing career. I always say that when they start coming to the gate, I think those original memories from when I was 12, 13 years old come back to you. And when they get to the gate, I'm a 12-year-old again.
And away they go. There's the roar from the Del Mar crowd as the field's sent on their way.
A voice synonymous with Southern California racing. Trevor Denman hanging up the mic at the iconic Seaside Oval. What a career, what an experience we've had. Lucky enough to listen to some of these fantastic calls over the years.
Hey, he's been there in the Del Mar announcer's booth since 1984. He's called every season at Del Mar except one since that 1984 season, but just a legendary race caller, a legendary career for track announcer Trevor Denman. And people forget, too, Trevor Denman, he was part of the early Breeders' Cup broadcast. If you watch those broadcasts back in the 80s and the early 90s, he was one of the on-air reporters for the early days in the Breeders' Cup. So just one heck of a career for Trevor Denman. There's not a place, I guess, in the Hall of Fame for track announcers, but if there was one, he's absolutely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. And Trevor, a big congratulations on all of your fantastic achievements. We're certainly going to miss you right here on FanDuel TV. So that's the best from us here at the FanDuel team. And I guess as Trevor steps aside from those amazing calls down there at Del Mar, next man up approach, and it's the one and only, the voice, Larry Collmus.
Yeah, and when, I guess Larry's been the voice at Del Mar during the fall meeting at Del Mar in November for quite some years. So congratulations to our teammate. What a big moment for our teammate here on FanDuel TV. Larry Collmus going to be the new voice out there at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. So he's the voice of the Kentucky Derby. He's the voice of the Preakness Stakes. He calls all the races for NBC for the Breeders' Cup in early November. And now you can add the voice of the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club for Larry.
And I tell you what, for Larry, not a bad gig to have.
Right,
down there at the Seaside Oval, it's got to be one of the most spectacular venues in the sport of racing.